Hello and welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture, we will design two-way restraint slab. And in the previous lecture, we have designed two-way simply supported slab. And in this lecture, we will design two-way restraint slab. So first, we will see what is the difference between them, and then uh, we will design this slab. So we will see two-way slab, and we will try to understand the restraint slab, and we will see what are the rules for detailing of reinforcement in two-way restraint slab, because this is very common slab we generally use in multi-story buildings. So we will see what are the IS code recommendations regarding the detailings of reinforcement in this slab, and then we will design the example. So as I have discussed in the previous lecture, two-way slab is basically a slab which is classified based on the aspect ratio. So if the aspect ratio is less than 2, then the slab is designed as a two-way slab. And so this is the photo for depicting the behavior of two-way slab. So along in the two-way slab, banding occurs along both the span, whether it is shorter span or longer span, it will occur along both the span. And because banding is occurring along both the span, so load is shared from both the span. So this is what I have discussed in the previous lecture also. Now, further, two-way slab can be classified into two categories. One is the simply supported slab that we have covered in the previous lecture. In this, the corners of the slabs are not held down, which means if the load is coming like this, in that case, the corners will lift up. So there is no provision to prevent this lifting of the corners of the slab. So this kind of slab is generally used in a single story houses. So that is the simply supported slab. Now talking about the restraint slab. Now restraint slab is exactly opposite to it. It means if we stop lifting this corner of the slab against the load, then what will happen? The slab will becomes a restraint slab. In this case, what we are doing is we are actually restraining the corners of the slab. So that kind of slab is known as the uh, restraint slab. So in this case, corners are held down. Now, if we discuss more about the restraint slab, well, in this case, when the corners of slabs are prevented from lifting, the slab is known as restraint slab. And this slab is commonly used in multi-story buildings. And also, as the corners are prevented from lifting, uh, edges or corner develop negative moments. So as we are preventing the corners to lift up, there will be a moment which will generate at the corner or at the edges that will be known as a negative moment. We will see in the next slides how this negative moment will develop. So generally, we provide torsional reinforcement in restraint slab because if the corners tries to lift up, there are chances that there are torsion along at the corners. So to avoid that torsion or to avoid the twisting of the corners, we generally provide torsional reinforcement to resist against the torsional cracking. Now, the details of design of a restraint slab is given in IS code clause number D1. So if we refer to annexure D1, then there we will find the details regarding the design of restraint slab. Now, as restraint slab is again a two-way slab, so in this case we will be finding moment of bending moment along x-axis and along the y-axis. If we consider x along the shorter span and y along the longer span, then the equation for bending moment in this case will be bending moment along the x-axis. It will be calculated by using this formula, the same formula we have used in the previous lecture also in case of simply supported slab. But here the difference is that the value of alpha x here will be different. In the simply supported slab case, we find out the value of alpha x and alpha y by using the table number 27. Now, in case of restrained slab, we will be determining alpha x and alpha y by using table 26. I will show you this table, although I have provided the table in the slide also. So using the table number 26, we will be determining alpha x and alpha y. Well, the value of alpha x and alpha y is actually dependent on the edge condition, whether the edge of the slab is continuous or whether it is discontinuous. So based on that condition, the value of alpha x will be determined. So now I will show you the table. So this is the table 26 of IS code. So if you refer to IS code, you will see the table. And in this case, the value of alpha x will be determined by 9 cases. Basically, there are 9 cases through which we have to identify the case for our slab, which we will be designing. And based on that case, there will be two values of alpha x and alpha y. As we know that alpha x and alpha y dependent on the ratio Ly by Lx, and alpha x further dependent on the cases. So there are cases like interior panel, one short edge continuous, one long edge discontinuous. Similarly, on if I go to the next slide, then there are remaining 5 cases. In the fourth case, it is saying two adjacent edges discontinuous, two short edges discontinuous. Now, what is the meaning of this? So we will try to understand this. First, I will make a diagram to show you the slab panel with the edge conditions. Now, for example, say this is a big panel, and if I divide this panel into, say, 9 panel, and if I consider each block as one slab, say slab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I consider these blocks as slab 1, 2, 3. So in this case, if I consider slab 1, so in this case, what I can say that one edge of this slab, this edge and this edge, both of these two edges are discontinuous, while the other two edges like this one and this one, it is continuous in this end and it is continuous in this end. So slab 1 will fall in which category? In case 4, in which it is said that two adjacent edges discontinuous. So in that case, slab 1 will fall in case 4, and with reference to case 4, we can determine the value of alpha x. So as you can see, alpha x is dependent on the aspect ratio also. So if we get to know which is the case for our slab, then we will further find out the value of Ly by Lx, and then we determine the value of alpha x. So here you can see uh, if Ly by Lx value is 1, and for example, if my case is interior panel, case 1. So in that case, there will be two types of moment. One is the negative moment, second one is the positive moment. And for both the moment, the value of alpha x is given here. So for example, for if my Ly by Lx value is 1, then the negative value, I mean negative moment coefficient of alpha x will be 0.032. Similarly, for positive moment, it will be 0.024. We will understand what is negative and positive moment when we will be solving a design problem. So for the time being, you understand that for each slab panel, there will be negative and positive bending moment. Now, how they will be acting in the slab, that I will show you later when we will be solving the problem. And similarly, now this is the value of alpha x, which is based on Ly by Lx, and it is having different value 1.123 and up to the value of 2, because we know that if the Ly by Lx value is less than 2, then we can classify that slab as a two-way slab. So this table is mainly for two-way slab only, two-way restraint slab only. Now for the case of alpha y, now alpha y value for all values of Ly by Lx is 0.032 in case of negative moment, 0.024 in case of uh, positive moment. Okay, so this is how we will be using this table for our case. Now in this case, I have discussed case 1. Similarly, if I talk about case 2, I mean slab 2, in that case you can see slab 2 has one edge, this edge, which is discontinuous. There is no slab here, but it's three edges, other three edges like this one, and this one. These three edges are continuous. Similarly, slab 3 will be identical to slab 1. And if I talk about slab 4, the middle one, in that case you can see all four edges are continuous. So slab 4 will fall in the category 1. So category 1 means interior panel. Now interior panel is the panel which has all four edges continuous. So now restraint slab dependent on the edge condition, whether it is continuous or discontinuous, and based on that factor, we will be find out the value of alpha x and alpha y. So we will try to use this table when we will be solving design problem. Now moving to the another topic, that is rules of detailing of reinforcement. So detailing reinforcement in case of restraint slab is a little different. So now, if we go to the, again, referring to the D1 clause, so there it is written that a slab is divided in each direction into middle strip and edge strip. How it is divided? That is shown in this figure. For example, if this is a slab and if the shorter edge is representing by Lx and the longer edge is represented by Ly, so in that case, for each span, it will be divided into middle strip and edge strip from both the ends. Similarly, this division is for the span Lx. Similarly, for the longer span, it is again divided into middle strip and the edge strips. Now, what is the meaning of this? The meaning of this is that the reinforcement calculated for bending moment, that is for mx and my, shall be provided only in the middle strip. So the division that we have done in case of shorter span and in case of longer span, generally we provide the main reinforcement which we have calculated for these moment for our slab case. Generally we provide reinforcement along this middle strip only, middle strip only. So what does it means? It means that, for example, if I talk about the shorter span, this Lx value. So reinforcement for Lx will be provided for this moment Mx. So Mx will have reinforcement like this. So along the slab, it will be like this. So all the reinforcement will be provided in middle strip only. Similarly, for My, we will provide reinforcement along the middle strip only. Now, what is the meaning of this? It means that maximum bending moment or maximum effect of bending moment will generally occur along the middle strip only. So that is why we will provide maximum reinforcement to resist the bending moment effect Mx and My along the middle strip only. Now, do we provide reinforcement in edge strip or not? Whether it will be, we will leave it empty. No, we provide reinforcement along the edge strip also. But what reinforcement we will be providing? So that reinforcement will be distribution reinforcement. So main reinforcement will be along the middle strip. Similarly, in this case also, main reinforcement will be along the middle strip only, and for distribution reinforcement it will be provided in the edge strip here. So here the along the edge strip we will provide distribution reinforcement. So these green line I am showing this as a distribution reinforcement. Similarly, for longer span also, distribution reinforcement will be laid along the edge strip like this. Similarly here also, so they will be provided along with the main reinforcement. Okay, so this is how we will be providing reinforcement in the restraint slab. So the main reinforcement will generally be provided at the middle strip only. Now, what is the width of edge strip and middle strip? Middle strip length will be 3/4 of Ly, and edge strip on both the ends will be Ly by 8. Similarly, here also it will be 3/4 of Lx. It will be 3/4 of Ly in case of span Lx, and in this case, in case of span Ly. So that is the one thing that we will see when we will be designing the slab panel in our problem. Now, if I show you the edge strip, in this case, you can see there are two panels, panel 1, panel 2. And in this case, you can see the edge, middle strip will look like this, and the edge strip will be this one. So this is the panel. So main reinforcement will be provided along this reinforcement only. So I will show you how reinforcement will be there. So along the Lx, it will be something like this. It will look something like this. So along the shorter span, reinforcement will be provided for middle strip up to this only. Similarly, for longer span, the reinforcement, for longer span, the strip is this one and up to this one. So main reinforcement will be provided like this. Similarly, for the distribution reinforcement, it will be along the edge strip only. So like this, it will be showing like this. Similarly for this also, these reinforcement will be something like this. And along this also. Now these reinforcement are further divided into, provided into two categories. How we provide that? Now, if I cut a section of this slab along this, how it will look like? It will something look like this. We provide reinforcement in two forms, whether we provide in case of bent, like the bent up bar, or we provide as a straight bar. Generally, practically we provide bent up bar. So now you can see these reinforcement, these are the main reinforcement, and on the edges, these are the distribution reinforcement, and all the distances you can see in the middle strip we have provided this reinforcement at the bottom, and what we do sometimes is we alternately bent up these bars. Similarly here also we alternately bent up these bars like this. So this one is the distribution reinforcement, and in the middle you are seeing these are as the main reinforcement. So generally we will be adopting this detailing for the reinforcement in our slab. All the values are given here. Okay. Generally we provide this bent up bar at the edges because, as I said, that it will be a restrained slab, and therefore it is generally cast with beam monolithically, and therefore at the end negative moment may generate. So to avoid that, generally we provide reinforcement at the edges also in the form of bent up bar. Here also, in this region also, negative moment will be there. Well, how it will develop, that I will show you when we will solve design example. Similarly, if we provide straight bar, in that case what we do is we cut our bar here only. We don't extend this bar like bent up bar we have done in this case. So this case is better. Generally, practically, we adopt this system of reinforcement detailing. So both of these are okay as per IS code recommendation, but practically we prefer this kind of system to provide the reinforcement detailing. Now, beside this, we also provide the torsional reinforcement. Now, here I have written, in addition to the reinforcement shown in the previous slide, torsional reinforcement is also provided at the edges. I mean, at the corner of of the slab. So, for example, if this is the slab, so generally we provide torsion reinforcement along these corners, in these corners. Now, there is also a condition attached with these corner. We provide torsional reinforcement only at those corners which are contained with discontinuous edges or discontinuous plus continuous edges. For example, if this edge and this edge is discontinuous, so in that case, this corner will be will be containing two discontinuous edges. Similarly, if this edge is continuous and if this edge is discontinuous, so in that case, this corner will be contained with one continuous edge and one discontinuous edge. So based on this condition, we provide torsional reinforcement. So now talking about first case, if a corner is bounded by two adjacent simple support, top and bottom reinforcement, each with layer of bars placed parallel to the sides of the slab and extending from the edges to a minimum distance of 1/5 of the shortest span shall be provided. So now it is saying that if a corner is bounded by two discontinuous edge, so as I said, so if I consider this case, this edge and this edge is discontinuous, so this corner will be contained with two discontinuous edge. So in that case, we will provide torsional reinforcement. Now, what is the detailing of reinforcement? It will something look like this. So in the corner, we will add extra reinforcement like in the layer of reinforcement. So there will be four layers, two layer at the bottom and two layer at the top. So in the cross section, the cross section is cut like this, and in the cross section you can see one layer, and then in the dots you are looking at, this is the second layer. Similarly at the top also third layer and this one. So basically total four layers are provided at the corner. Now we will provide full reinforcement at the corner which is contained with two discontinuous edges. So that is the first case. Similarly, there will be a corner which is contained with one discontinuous and one continuous, like this corner. How do we provide in that case? Because it is continuous, so it means there will be a slab also, then only this edge will be continuous. So in that case, one corner will be this one and the second corner for this slab. So there will be two corners where we will be providing torsional reinforcement. Now, what is the amount of that reinforcement? First, we will see in this case, it is saying that uh, we will provide four layer. Now, each layer will be having reinforcement area as 3/4 of AS. Now, what is AS? AS is the area of reinforcement provided at the slab midspan. Provided for maximum bending moment which will occur at the midspan. So whatever reinforcement we have provided here, if we consider that reinforcement as AS, then the reinforcement at this corner at one layer will be equals to 3/4 of AS. So whatever reinforcement we provide here, one layer of the reinforcement for torsion will be equals to 3/4 of that. So that is the case and it is given in clause D1. Similarly, now, yes, this, as I have mentioned, the area of reinforcement in each of these four layers shall be 3/4 of the area required for maximum midspan moment in the slab. So as I have explained about this, now going to the next case in which corner is bounded by one continuous and one discontinuous edge. As I said, as I have explained in this case, yes, this one. If we consider this case, like in this case, you can see one corner is contained with one continuous and one discontinuous edge. Similarly, this corner also, it is contained with one continuous and one discontinuous. So how do we provide, what will be the amount of reinforcement in these corner? So that is also mentioned in the IS code. And so this is how we will be providing reinforcement in two corners. So this is actually showing the case. For example, say this is two slab and this is continuation in here also. So if one corner is there, one corner is there, how we provide reinforcement here? So basically the reinforcement that we have provided at this corner, which is contained with two discontinuous edge, this edge and this edge is discontinuous. So in that case, whatever reinforcement we have provided here, it will be half of the reinforcement that we will be providing in these two corners. Why? Because their one edge is continuous and one edge is discontinuous. So which means, now basically why we are providing? See, because you can see the slab panel is discontinuous here. So when the load will be applied at the mid of this slab, this corner will try to lift up. And while it will try to lift up, and by chance if it is lifting, in that case what will happen? The edges will try to lift up, and in that case torsion or twisting of the corners, twisting of the edges, twisting of slab corner may occur. And to avoid that, we provide this torsional reinforcement. So that is the case. Otherwise, if corner of the slab is contained with two continuous edges, like for example, if this edge and if this edge both are continuous, so in that case this corner will not lift up. So we don't provide reinforcement, torsional reinforcement at a corner which is contained with two continuous edges. We provide torsional reinforcement in the corner only where, whether it is contained with one discontinuous edges or two discontinuous edges, there only we provide torsional reinforcement. So if it is contained with two discontinuous edges, we provide full torsional reinforcement, and in full torsional reinforcement, each layer is consisting area equivalent to 3/4 of the reinforcement for maximum mid-span moment. And for corner consisting one continuous and one discontinuous edges, there we provide half of the reinforcement required in the corner containing two discontinuous edges. So this is how we find out. So here also it is given that 3/8 times of AS. So you can see 3/4 divided by 2, it becomes 3/8 times of AS. So this is how we are going to calculate area of reinforcement for each layer in case of torsional reinforcement. So we will be calculating it in our design problem. So we will see how we are going to solve it. And in the second statement, you can see no torsional reinforcement need to be provided at corners which is bounded by two continuous edges. So as I have explained here, if edge is containing two continuous edges, if corner is containing two continuous edges, then there won't be there won't be a necessity to provide torsional reinforcement in that case. So in the next part, we will take an example. We will take example to solve our design problem. So thank you.